Honorable.
Good
morning.
Morning.
Oh yeah.
Yami adom me ho ye pa. Me ho ye.
Asa won nanso.
Oh.
Ejuma no doso.
Me tu kwan kakra ti me bedu nra.
Okay.
Because me rush constituency for a few issues. When you say DC nominations no.
Oh, okay.
Ashanti region.
Oh, constituency ni yeah.
If Jakwabre North.
Ah, okay. North.
North. Yes.
Okay.
You know. Some rush ko na to nyoma ye. But so far bibia boko.
MP adwuma na e on.
I want a positive side and I want a negative side.
Na some marketia anyenti adenti na ya na stella mo marketia anye. MP one out of petrol. See esusu ani enim say we MP a aban na beto petrol amount security. But say you say mo na moto petrol kan na mo demu no. Aban sa atimo marketia no. Enti ya mo ye den because sika we nya hwe ma mo.
The truth of the matter is say when the positive aspects and the SMBK. Of course you get all the courtesies. You have diplomatic passports. All the courtesies. You have an opportunity to meet Sinkofa ordinarily, and Kaunya has an opportunity to meet them. Car loan, okay. Yes, a car loan, but there might tax exemptions. Ordinarily, a Land Cruiser can cost even $150,000. You can get it at $100,000 because there's a tax exemption element. It make and the crescent utia car not there, and so there's a positive aspect to it. You know, be allowed. I think you need to be. I say we need to
MP no.
I say we need to experience the excitement about it, and yes, they are difficult, especially the back and forth. The BIS travel now back constituency, now be the air course. But by and large, I think it's okay.
But I'm just thinking, say, to the beer, meaning say, to the beer, sikakra anyhow. And so, how do you survive? Because you call constituency, honorable Kwano, Ubebi, no, ni aji unhusi Kenya. You see, Anna, I understand you munti minka, but people must know the kind of challenges I am. Come on, say, Obiti, MPD, MPD, but the fact is that Brenna mo Breno, he should I appreciate him.
Well, that's true. The three arms of government now, the only arm, ultimately say we struggle quite a lot. We a judge, and as we a Supreme Court judge, your man dying, your man a car, you know, they get all those things. As members of parliament. Yes, on that score, you can say yes, we go through some struggles, and there's no doubt about it. But I'm saying, I'll be dishonest to say, it's all struggles.
Okay.
There are some positive aspect to it. I just returned from Houston.
Okay.
On we call oil conference.
All right.
On the back of the fact semi ranking member or deputy ranking member on the energy committee.
Okay.
These are opportunities. It comes with the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so your ticket is bought for you. You get hotel reservation and all that. As part of the work I hear. Ordinarily, no. Say Kamera na me call me OTC, which is the oil conference. Me and say me to me tickets. Me and say me call pay me hotel and me down here. Me call you so an opportunity to meet all the oil guys. Ordinarily, you wouldn't have met them. You know, Chevron for whole meeting. We have opportunity to learn, let's say, the whole industry. You know, these are some of the positives. I think say SS and also Yetimika. I'm a man who say it's not always.
But Oba constituency. Say ya omutwumbu to.
Oh, any day is normal. Some you me for bank at some ko.
Is it be as you cannot the unhu dear but Oko constituency and yawo dia.
You say na make say when you me say me come constituency be na many age. It's exciting for me to go back home. Me tell me say be taxi mo na we oh yeah. It's exciting to go back home sometimes. It's exciting. It will be do fear. Will be and you see they be America before the elections. They call markets. I had a tire and me spend some 5 minutes be with market woman be.
Yeah.
Me say $1 ho asem. Minia Mako University, Miami Masters, Economics, near there, no. my minute share me economics within 5 minutes. Pure economics. What share me a kind of fossil, eco fun in your money free a foam at the back markets. The pricing, a kind of fossil, the price it, the neoma, the factors are or they put together to arrive at a particular price. You invest in elasticity, now your drum map,
equilibrium.
My minute share me how it is done practically within 5 minutes. And you know, I learn a lot. I'm telling you, the kind of first or even or the price board here back, you'll be surprised. Say where 2 cities, where there 3 cities. Or throw the trajectory, a kind of fast or there side, and you'll be surprised. And also, honorable, last a she say pay fuel no transportation a free 2 cities. I want to 3 cities. Now, kind of 3 cities now, 1 city now that's no was spread it a go. No man so that's no kind of fast one. And until I say last by 1 city and 1 city 20 pesos. Watch the and so you get the practical,
but. Also economics, and I'm sure says on your way. But sometimes mo say amutimi say kwanya befa so amadon mo ba na atia fa so. I mean, a dear na as a dollar no which akrachufo ne adisua ya munina munni me kwanya befa so amadollar no still obi aba na etwe firebo etere bia na ye kakra na ehuri ko na ye say kakra na ehuri. I remember Dr. Baumia that my chick you know na ye de no bi ani age na ehuri na ekọ na we akokakra e de nko na still na muntimi ma dollar ye ho ntoye.
Well, first of all, no, I think it's fair to congratulate to Forsen and the managers of the economy. Name me a citizen. And if things are going on right, I'm excited about it. We a businessman a few months ago, we pay $100,000 now. We'll be here 1.5 million to buy $100,000. That's a net. We'll be here 1.3. That's a gain of about 200,000. That's quite significant.
20,000.
That's quite significant. You know, I say about my basso. It's my hope, say, it's a bit me sustain it for a very long time. Because when the dollar comes down, it will rippling effect. You see what is a petrol because a key component of the petrol price is the exchange rate. And you know, say a buffer more has effect on petrol prices. Petrol prices buffer more. It is likely that transport fares can come down going forward. And so no, many are just say it's coming down. It is the sustainability aspect of it. I think say the success of what is happening is hinged on the gold board. I would have wished, say, the real sector of the economy is what is driving this manufacturing, maybe agriculture. That is the danger. And I think you asked Ubusa a very good question. How sustainable is this? And the economists know, I can say, gold is a depletable asset.
Yeah, bro, for now, can you?
And you know, gold, and to say, issue, and to say,
okay. Okay.
So if you hinge the success of your currency, just on the gold, then you have a problem. That's what I'm saying. Say, the real sector, nanka BB factories, nanka Ghana, a year more production, a year ton more outside. Not just a dollar na back room. No, it's more driven by manufacturing, by agriculture, and they're more sustainable. But as I said, in the interim, I think it's important. Say we acknowledge, say they've done well. Of course, it's been a process. You know about gold reserve. You know say gold reserves. It went up significantly. I think in the last 2 years into this administration. Yeah. And into reserves now. There's no need to add more reserves. At least when you're a certain level, it's giving them free way to do other things. That's also significant. Of course, the dollar itself, internationally, is becoming weak. What is the effect if America, America begins to act right? Now dollar begins to strengthen. what will be the effect on us.
Okay. Say be Donald Trump yes me and me kind.
Absolutely.
Na mejai. China for them we mejai.
Absolutely. What is the effect on this? Say your debt. Debt servicing. Because of the DDEP, most of our payment of our debts will start from next year. And it's a buying of free space. Social budget or free space this year. Very little debt service.
This is a ketchubi or
because of the DDEP, you're postponing payment to next year and next 2 years. What it means is a few way and KB we here $30 million, $50 million. You are not paying that debt now.
Okay.
What is the effect when you start paying? I'll be here dollar. More. Say more. What is the effect of that? And then make us say you can congratulate them, but your bomb pie say they can sustain this pressure. Especially my fear is everything is hinged on the gold board success now. I mean yanka and can go the 2 year and can refining.
Okay.
And can be even more dollars. But we turn raw it's good.
And number me busao. So way and I'm not blaming just one government.
Yeah.
At least for Republican ni eti the bia ni good they were boxer they were why na de bia they raw ya ka and then the share parliament wa muntimi moaye ma hu say afi gold no yen turn the robium cocoa no yen turn the robium. What is so difficult to do?
Well, this is a policy question, but Minim said there are about 2 or 3 gold refining companies in Ghana. But they are in Ghana. But the point is that I'm not too sure whether more capacity is that much. How much refining all the gold. And then some of them is giving us say $2 billion. You can imagine $2 billion within a space of 1 month. That tells you the amount of the value of the gold. Don't forget it's a gold value Nankasa international apostrophe.
Yeah.
So it's a good point. I'm hoping say they can build more if they want to. I mean, we said there are about 2 or 3 or what. I said, okay, yeah, buying there. It's individual. I don't have a problem. Say private sector, only such companies. But it would be nice. Say gold here, you can 2.something billion. You can imagine saying, you refine it, the gold here. That 2 billion can jump to about 4 billion. But don't forget, the gold near the corner. The earrings. Yes, I could to be from these same people at a higher price. And you realize that gold 2 billion now, okay, it will come back to this economy refined at a different price. Watch here, mommy, a boy, you get a point I'm making. It's a good point, and I'm hoping say the managers of the economy are listening.
No, but I'm just looking at a bipartisan approach to this. More parliament. I mean, sometimes I only expect to say some of these basic economics. Mobeya maye. But I won't say, you bet you man so an MPP NDC na ubia e fili. And so I'm just looking at say, what is so difficult? Say be a montrance say enedie afenyo marking say why ye nyane nwene say gold no e be den na MPP NDC ye be kan bom na gold ya ye bi wo ha cocoa no chocolate no e be den na MPP yen kan bom how why don't we do that?
Well, it's a difficult. I don't know why it has not been done yet.
I said the other ones they want to make kan one say but the e be bua Ghana me nyina
I don't know why it has not been done yet. Say the kind of bipartisan nature no, and let me say no man be brave or parliament no is bipartisan. A lot of the things are by consensus.
I know yes sika wo mu dia I know na na mo nye this can back fast and there and your moyen bipartisan na say you much me twe ho man so
sometimes a lot of the no man be behind the scenes in MPA. I remember finance committee first term.
Yeah.
And na ya me MPP aban the tax exemption be by kwesi was the chairman. No say subcommittee to myself, Sheila Patel's current transport minister, NDC time, in about 4. You scrutinize it, even the request from our own government. Me a share line by line. I didn't now pay exemption for this, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes a request comes near 15 million tax exemption. It's me return the down to 7 million because it's me share and no money beats me who say we Ghana. There's no need to import to even get a tax exemption. It's a lot of the things behind the scenes is bipartisan. On them pattern, okay, say, BBA is Kasema and Yakambu and Tessa. A lot of the things we do to save Ghana more
Samum.
Oh yes, we do it. And as my
loan be or mo koji ni ebusa Ghana for say loan we de munyai. Na ebetumi anya mo be kwa akwaje. They say Ghana ye loan ye kan kwa ni number 700 billion.
Okay, so the interesting thing about this said the dollar number formula is that the next report from Bank of Ghana no we won't say your debt to GDP in the form.
Okay.
Because the dollar component of the debt no because of the strength of the cedi no the cedi equivalent in the form.
Okay.
And ABI said okay say 70 billion. ABI now there's $100 million component of it and you convert it into cedis.
Okay.
By the time I work 70 billion, now
700 billion.
Next dollar near 15.
Okay.
And now dollar about 13. That 700 billion will whittle down.
But still a car.
No,
a car or say
a car. Yes,
oh, honorable. They be on your bebobusia.
It's because budget here running a deficit budget.
And then there was some way.
That's how it stays because no matter buying peso all the time. No, it's more than the revenue.
So, for example, you tam $2.4 billion every year. Near the Akokra. And one in two name bro,
but that's the difficulty. Me who list to be I was shocked. Kehuru.
You're my
dear, sometimes it be a 2 billion.
Yeah.
A year. Yes, we will be. To watch our be.
Maybe now.
Economy there is a collective effort. Our tastes. Sometimes so our taste for sometimes they me busasa did na all hotels. Yemma emra say every hotel be should cook Ghanaian rice.
I mean, yeah, it's that difficult to do?
It shouldn't be difficult. It shouldn't be difficult.
Sometimes can't government? I'm asking you.
It shouldn't be difficult.
Maybe I buy intentionally decide or cut it down.
Yes, I buy so beer and top Ghana rice. Unfortunately, the production of Ghana cannot meet the demand.
But why are we not encouraging that production?
That's a good point. But even that production make of course Rona still meet the demand. No, it's because of the your taste, your taste for the foreign. It's very very high. It's it's a collective effort. In
the collective effort. Mona more parliament. Yeah, you bet me aka. But mona more parliament.
Yeah, me say Obia and talk Ghana mona say oko. Na say there's a foreign rice now. Oko foreign rice.
No, so consciously, on say at least Nigeria for timia ye kakra. Ye ankasa ye niapanyi odum. Or ye MPP ni.
Yeah.
Ye de no call hoduma odumi. Wetimi ko boa ye must say rice production was at least a konenim.
Yeah.
And so, for example, mo ya de bia mani GA. Sa one district, one factory.
Yeah.
IMPP.
Yeah.
I mean, my thinking was say aban dia hoɔden bebree shema. And kaya ho atoye. But this is why I say as a policy, aban sisa won share down papa.
This current government is not about that.
I mean, I'm just looking at and you maybe factory there bipartisan. Because anya bia na ye tea row no ha. Ye nyina na be use. Imagine say every year ye time maybe 18 million Ghana cedis. You say they are koto toothpick. Obra ye bamboo ha. And I'm just thinking, some of these things how difficult.
The current government, this part, sanitary part, Nami Busa said, do we have the capacity now to produce the parts to meet the demand? So a beautiful policy say, yeah, sanitary parts for everybody. Well, hey, yeah, we have to get a part Nasaba. I don't know whether we have the capacity as of now to meet the entire demand. Especially when I buy about 200 and something million Ghana. One year says, can we go back to China?
Can it create a factory? For example, consciously.
It's me MP also brought up the issue. Say that 200 million out of the year partner. Why don't you put 50 or 60 million of it to get a factory to enhance the production of parts, so that subsequently, part Nhyira we can buy from here. It's also a good point. There are companies.
Me read this at the end. As okay, maintain say I buy.
Because
this is conscious.
Yes, a bit shooting it down to say there are companies in Ghana who do that. But the point is that companies now in Ghana and they promote production to say it will be so point. They say okay, if 200 million out they buy that now current companies now to enhance their capacity. More some soft concessionary facility be say 50 million more to improve the machine here back on top in order to meet the demand now because now there's cash available to buy the parts.
But why don't you, I mean, I know you are an honorable person, very influential in parliament. Adentina mum pushing it den other than say I can't back up near we.
Well, so obi a raising concern about it. It was a bit. I think Kennedy
penny minority leader. Kwabe press conference can in 70 but some of these things in there
minority leader they want so power.
I mean, I'm just looking at Senka to say, Bibiana, we are who's MP before Abidjan, no press conference.
Yes.
I come my press conference say, I buy the OD Bay, dear, but sanitary partner, factory A, B, C, D, near whom. It's emphasis cannot expand in Emwa. I'm sure Becca said, this is. I mean, alternative. I think
it's a good point. I think it's a good point. You know, I think you call back. We'll push
it. Sure. Another
why not? We'll push it. The NPBA raising the issue. You know, others downplayed it. Say their factories are available near them. Maybe in your data, no, the factories no catch it, so they have the capacity to do it. They're fine. Why not?
Well, they don't, but they are saying it's okay. They said okay, yeah, expand my capacity.
They could
because
meet.
I'll be glad it's at least 60% to be there. Nanka other ones near Kraba.
If you can even do 80%, salary pass, I'm sure we should be able to do 80% of it.
Since a year, it be a 4-year something.
Yes. Yeah, we should be able to. And okay, and also so the policy itself no should drive the private sector. Or also our factory. You can now invest more. You know, to expand, knowing very well say the demand now is there based on a buying policy or the ban. Sometimes policy need to meet a drive it. Decisions like that, and you know, it's a good call to even more private individuals, no more factories. No, so they say they are buying, say, "We are partner, you better." It's just a car tool, so it is an opportunity for you to also expand your business.
One of the challenges are now factories, you know, more time. Some of the people me one district, one factory, no more case. If we have more capacity, no, but near Ubo say broni mum, enya advantage than on no bibi ni.
In terms of,
I mean. A typical example, Vesta oil. Now, oil ni be an anchor expanded so benya setting a moi crano. Now, if you are and shut down ma.
Okay.
And then he became frustrated.
Minim so apply.
He's part of it. In fact, he's one of the people on the factory, Nhyira president. Ebichano,
okay.
Vesta oil.
Which means he benefited from the 1D1F. But the point you're making is saying, a buying policy bit says a sanitary part, a policy bit say all secondary schools
good
buy locally produced oil, like Vesta. Policy like that, I know you're doing completely. So to even help Wabuama factory, no, 1D1F factory number, we produce oil, no. Now he's competing with all the foreign brands. Abanso schools near the idea or opportunity and the authority to say buy from this particular person. Until I get your point. Until I can do that kind of policy. Okay, yeah, the factory ya be the mesremo. Secondary schools will come in Montomo oil no and free Vesta or Vesta oil no in order for him to sustain his business. I think it's a good policy. It's a good call, and I support that.
Nhyira 104.5. Many honorable callings Adomako-Mensah kasa. Uti ni kasa now. The mami penasem say he's not a politician. As a because anytime I learn a lot from him because and we are talking about Ghana because and the Biana we just look at the negatives, but how best because Ghana kosu year benefit and then we are looking at the sustainability because ha businessmen esua dole yentimi nyi port boy den entinyame adom na eso tia me we are looking at how you betimi abona ban so are conscious of that she na no yi Burkina Faso as he say why hero factory kakra nkete bia me say tomato na say sa factory ye will be wo hokra bi obetimi aye tomato factory bi kra wa ha timi aye and ye struggle in that. I'm just praying say obepushi nya sa de no na say Ghana tea roll, Ghana bamboo, Ghana den and ato force na ye bibi. I'm so glad they say henfort ye won nyoma ni bi wo ho a omo procure local. I think that kunyani nyoma bi a kan one.
It sounds some way there. I'm just hoping say he will implement it. That can be that. That can be that. That can be that. It's the implementation of it no and a problem. You can't parliament they better in Konya way from high away from high. We say it all the time. I'm just hoping say for me national finance committee and during this tax exemption he comes across as obia, but you see sometimes when you enter mainstream now it's ikaka. You know, I'm just hoping I said you all can obey, you know. So far me who say he's spending no. We're very, very conscious about spending.
It's
we're very conscious about spending. And also with the stabilization of the city. Because if you don't spend more, the Sikana system no more form. So people don't have that much extra to even go and buy the dollar to hoard in the first place. It's, you know, yeah, sure, how it goes.
All right. Me pese me busa ase aban bia wo position a mo kasa ye no eye de ye mo Ghanaian. Mo kasa ne ye kasa ya ase ye dwene Ghana ho mo ye ne mo ye tie mo ye temase. I'm asking this because within 4 months 5 months here John Dramani Mahama bai me who say MPP phone bi e complaining efa ekwan bia John Mahama ebu na memu na anu ya 120 days minority leader my best friend ninsema a wo kan ye a lamentation a soon or your how your ahochre. And sometimes Ghanaians will be asking nanya na anu ya na namote so na Ghana for kan mo se bibia you okay nti adenti na all of a sudden I said the na ye kanu mo so mo ka bi and then sesa when mo co position as a mo kasa to say Ghana for.
Well, me personally I've been consistent.
No, I know
I've been consistent. Media when
that's
it is
wrong, not asking you.
It's wrong. When it is right, it is right.
Yeah.
It's minority leader. Some of the things that are complaining about are the realities. Some of the things there's light off, there's doom so, there's intermittent power outages. It's a fact.
Yeah.
It is all can say Mr. Mahama Patrosha whole year. I don't think so. I can't believe. Yes, I can go for the dismissals of Ghanaians. These are facts. Into can say, o can say 24-hour economy. O can say obe buama ya employ more youth. Name mo buy no. Opamoni pani bebria. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And you know he has every right to complain about that. You know, but of course, me the Debbie America. All kind of sounds. You also have to admit the good thing that is happening. There's nothing wrong in admitting say we were in a year, and that's or improving on this one. It's Ghana. When there's the time for politicking, politics. Me, I never wish NDC to be in power. I'm an MPP. It's my wish is for my party to be in power.
Yeah.
But me buy $1 about 13. I should be magnanimous enough to say so. My 1 or 2 things. Of course, it's been a process. Gold reserves, the level it was and the level they inherited.
Yeah.
And you know, you can also acknowledge, say, oh, previous government did some good job. It's helping you to do more. You can acknowledge that. But there's nothing wrong in acknowledging or saying, say, a normal way anyway there, he has to improve upon them. There's nothing wrong with that.
But the way I am see a canon. Any the way I see no mo canon a yen to say enyamu na namoti abemu. Because maybe I mean who some MPP, not you per se, some of the MPP lamentations of issues that are going on. So, for example, CJ issue, my position has been clear. I don't support whatever is going on. So, I support the position of the MPP.
Okay.
And it's been clear. I've said, Sebi, BBN need the pure politics.
Yeah.
So, I support that. But then I'm looking at what time be or one and Kufuado, for example, Domelevo. Nana Kufuado Pamono. A cobaye na court can say a quanya of far so a year no, na amfa kwan so. Anka bibisa no minim say utia mranso president titia mranka e ho nsem ho. But we had a situation after Ghana for credit make unanimous FC because it was so obvious. He said, so what the was some Supreme Court and the MPP no. Unya wie kra timi hu say we die eno a na ebe. Emma wan kasa offer kanda pa kra kan bi. Say judicial near predictable a. Ebedru be bi no nkofo nhyeda and trust judiciary ni sa. People felt that judicial system under Nana Akufo-Addo no na say manipulation bebree wom. Then all of a sudden Monsomaba John Dramani Mahama and so they say memre ya nyina nu say mra kwan so e na ode ye although say your reservation MPP for buafu ye hu demonstration nyina. So I'm asking then na ya mo yes because now no man can nti I didn't see am obeka.
Well, me lawyer, but me the minimum say court. You go to court on the basis of fact. And to me, Satan no more 7-0 ne 7-0. No, I didn't support that. Me the court now case here good. Ato-Forson was in court under the MPP. The same court exonerated him. Minister said that's a unanimous FC. The facts available to the court not say Ato-Forson should be freed. And he was freed under Akufo-Addo's government. I don't think say Akufo-Addo manipulate the court. No, about this on Minister of Finance.
For the first time, who say Supreme Court, yet miss someone Supreme Court. I think KCB, Kofi Mire is a case no. Ato-Forson case no more court man Supreme Court na say just within a and we say hey na yet member cases were pending.
I know there is the court.
And then because MPP town and who's magic.
Oh no if you
because I mean who say Supreme Court
the court that area now obey MPP
no because
the court for me they be comes the court in there yeah democracy no yan hwe na say your court never MPP ni NDC. Then we are doomed. There's no democracy. No, but then there's no democracy.
But when you say
then there's no democracy. Media court.
Yeah.
Now case here stronger. You win. I believe so. It's not because we are manipulative. I don't look at it.
Here, John Mahama, a raise issue no in opposition. I can say Saturday na ekoso a hardly. And I'm sure so also buy or yeah.
But when Ato-Forson winning the case,
Ato-Forson case, he has compared to unanimous FC no.
No, but unanimous FC no. If you tell me say case we no case complainant and be lose and no winning yeah, then we can have an argument.
A case of
we can have an argument.
Delays in the process.
Then you can have an delays in there. I'm because delays you cannot attribute it to a political party. If the court system, your court case, it's been there for almost 20 years. Yes.
But
I'm saying, say, don't attribute it to say, now don't go for the delay.
No, but
the delay in court has nothing to do with it.
I'm not sure, saying your position being now say in the case of the Supreme Court.
Me, my problem with the CJ removal and say, my fear is that one year, a baby repetitive. So a next government comes. Or better say, we. That's my fear. That's my biggest fear.
But people are saying, say, Nana Akufo-Addo ye nyome bia na Ghana for kasa omumpe no munhwe yi. Not only court.
No. We can have an argument about.
But I'm just saying, even in the court system, you understand? In terms of the appointment
into the
Supreme Court.
All appointment comes through Parliament.
Yes. So then why are people raising issues when John Mahama is also appointing people? Now people, your MPP guys appoint or no say John Mahama so the 7 o'clock. Most will complaining.
I'm coming.
It's what's the problem?
Because His Excellency John Dramani Mahama whilst campaigning, while speaking to the lawyers, can send me say we have to balance the court.
So yes. Right.
You have to balance the court, and that's the fear. Into because you're not fulfilling your promise to your lawyer. Say you have to balance the court. Sure. Judges, Mr. Mahama are nominating.
Yeah.
Papa Bakubi, the comments about him is fantastic. Kofokan is a serious lawyer. Our appeals court for a very long time. Blah 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 blah. Me, I don't have any problem with that. Say, Mr. Mahama, I appoint you. I'm just saying, say, because of comments previously, it's creating the impression that he's fulfilling his promise.
But say BBC into the manager as he raises our comment.
The BBC,
they felt, the opposition felt, say,
so he's not coming to balance it.
Oh yes, he has the right now.
So my point is that fantastic. So the next government also balance it.
Oh yeah, why not?
And that is where my fear is. The judiciary, it's a parliament and MPP NDC matter. Then we have a problem because I think that's the only place you have solace. If also a Korean MPP NDC, then we have a problem.
And I'm say
then you have a big problem.
And the problem is say almost say most stop paying one you may be and I say the neku for the guswa air point here. Now most supposed more support is DNA ye BBI okay. Unguswa nyanya kwadano.
No, yeah, I'm saying is it in relation to the courts?
The perception that MPP Supreme Court judges no. But
that perception, no, it's not right. That's the point I'm making. Why do you think that is right?
Niti I didn't think more problem. Said John Mahama so appointed qualified Supreme Court judges. MPP for no complaining NDC judges.
No, the problem we have is in the comment or it's becoming as if he wants to fulfill that comment. Yes, that's the only problem. But on vetting.
Okay.
On Parliament vetting. Said Parliament vetting Akufo-Addo appointees.
Akufo-Addo appointee be a no MPP ni.
But who told you say judge Omontoba?
But where they know MPP candidates?
Now who told you they are judges? I know high court judges who were parliamentary candidates of the NDC. Yes, in Ghana.
Company.
Oh, I know high court judges. People who were MPP, NDC. Who are high court judges?
Obvious.
Who are high court judges?
Nana Akufo-Addo way they na or company ojina.
Who are high court judges?
Ojina apaso.
I am saying, say
apaso company.
Then we can never have a judge. But for me, in India, who are MPP, you can appoint as a judge. The tenant of your job should tell you, say you cannot be partisan. If I don't have a problem, say well appointed Obiso MPP need to judge if the person qualifies. But why are you MPP now? You appoint as a judge. The day you are sworn in as a judge, you should know say you are a judge. To obey the case, you look at it on the basis of law and not on the basis of party. That's it.
I'm not sure say I know more Kasafa High Court in say for Nidia, but Supreme Court factor.
You don't have a problem with a High Court judge.
High Court in the Supreme Court.
No,
Supreme Court in a bar.
Not all cases go to the Supreme Court.
No, but Supreme Court in a bar.
If it has nothing to do with interpretation.
Yeah, mommy on the issue of birth certificate. The way semantics and why
it was obvious to you.
Yeah, but on a more serious note, don't say no people who are politically exposed. Who say for a partisan. Now you are pointing it to be a judge, and we know say in Ghana have a ruling per constitution. Most of them are discretionary, which who you judge needs to say not drain with their book because there are options.
Yeah,
and the fact that the person could be a bit biased based on the political affiliation here high. It didn't need him say a human obey which is a judge no. Most of the ruling by discretion, your money options will be choose. Near names were MPP or NDC. Still, we push the person to a place where we make it critical judgment or decisions. A binum benya perception be about the person because what Supreme Court and say almost trust Afro barometer say they keep on declining. Public perception about them. She say omunye neutral as we want them to be. I say almost trust in the air coffin. It didn't keep on doing the same thing. Even them person be honorable say being parliamentarians, can they push to certain level say obi a known partisan. Politically exposed. Wa pre MPP, wa pre NDC penya. No matter how qualified the person is to the Supreme Court, which is the final say of this country, the whole day. And this is a many panic because most of the decisions know your discretion. Yet me too about 3-2, 4-2, and we know these people who are actually casting their vote are political allies. Why do we allow them there?
And in adding that now, Nabu Abemuno, say we share 2013 Supreme Court decision now.
Sure.
After MP before I'm pay Atuguba some beam.
Definitely. One retire crank Bianca.
She says, I did no crano mumpe etia to Gubano because a year 4-4.
Yeah.
And not any day by in a year 5-4. Sure. It means that not MP before.
We only disagreed with him.
Oh, there be. Honorable. And you disagree. And some are more cow.
We disagree with him. We don't hate him.
The MP before you to Guba will Kurumo hate him. At Guba, no moon penny deal.
No for retirement.
No, yes. Ma'am Pamono or Conrita, but the name of Tugubano
was a challenge
to MPP before. You understand? And let's be honest, honorable. Say no yepe Supreme Court acquire political show. And so having recognized that
okay, America, most Supreme Court judges their thinking is known. It's let's be clear. Okay, America, there are people who are Democrats. They are Supreme Court judges, but everybody knows their thinking
because of their democracy.
That's
it's understandable.
Yes. My point is that see, appoint was a Supreme Court judge. Adjudicate the case on the basis of law.
But no, now what can discretion?
But
then you are not a judge. You should be able to get your judgment on the basis of law.
Law is now
when it allows
law
you for discretion.
Your discretion should not be partisan. Your discretion should be based on law.
I know that unanimous FC so bear me.
The unanimous FC they did that on the basis of law. Unless you are telling me say, case be by and 7-0 in your view, no, it was bad in law.
One case, a problem.
It was bad in law. That's fine. If it was bad in law, then everybody has a problem.
And I'm going to say birth certificate issue. Supreme Court judge. I
say all the common sense to turn you law free one. Because
me mama free petty. Me mama free petty. Me papa free bonyuri. Me a Ghana ni. Yes, me Ghana because of the
Ghana card.
How? Me was announcing a day feeling. Anyway, now let's look at 120 days,
Yeah.
Over 10 over Mahama thing.
Oh, I think 45%.
Over 10.
That's 4.
4 over 10.
4 over 10.
4.5. That would be 5.
4.5.
Yes.
Over 10.
Yes.
Are they?
Oh, because we're fulfilling some of them and some of them to Untiminye.
Even saying.
Of course, okay, so about 60 ministers. So far, I have about 54 or so. I can be 6 or so. That is in fulfillment of the promise.
Yeah.
It's something that okay, so obey.
Yeah.
And now Constitutional Review Committee okay, so set here. I know said they are working. He's done well on that. Of course, the power situation is getting bad.
Right.
And also I'll score him negative on that.
Okay.
Debut.
On the negative.
No, doom so the negative. Say doom so the okay. I say I'm telling you, was the doom light. I don't know doom light. Oh, Charlie. John watch it.
I must say, in your money.
John watch it, but I'm hoping say thanks to it. But I think say generally no. Of course, in terms of peace, also about from Kaka conflict now Bokono keeps on escalating all the time. Of course, any area politics. Well, I mean, who say you've been very hard on the NDC on that. It was needless. Maybe they could do, and it was needless. And now it's becoming very clear. Say it's not because na MPP were being in a conflict no.
Yeah.
Even now it's getting worse. And you say you score him very low on that. Expenditure cuts. The budgets didn't give me any comfort. The budgets, the total expenditure cost more than what Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency.
Say Nyoma, say any Nyoma Bobe Kostro Kakrenti.
But that was not the promise. It's about the promise.
Say any oh yeah budget. Untimika say 10 cedis inti. Oh yeah budget. I know I can't live.
You are speaking like a realist, but I'm talking about the promise.
Okay.
The promise was to cut it.
That's why Nyoma Bobe Mutimika, but who are more patch or so one can.
And on your patch any. But for media be America. I bind the was no. Yes, we obey opposition. We will continue to oppose as opposition. But opposition, you have to do it constructively.
Yeah.
I'd never wish them say on me fail it totally. Also fail it totally, you know. But I'm just hoping say as quickly as possible. No man for say any home. They will try as much as possible to work on it. Many are about the raids now. I didn't like the way it was done because to be a mechanism, Mr. Mama comes across as a peaceful person. The demeanor, and I think it's a traitor. It's okay. You know, I was telling
will be
fear. It was unnecessary. That is not Mahama.
Okay.
You know, that is not the character of Mahama. But you see, unfortunately, one here, a few bad ones will give him that kind of image. The last me catch madam we say some Mahama be campaign on the constituency. Na me knew na offer me say oba will be the matter. The first now say make us I think you should keep that. But one here na said it begins to change based on actions of some people and the raids were totally unnecessary. It could have been done
they come from Kaka
in a more tidy way. I think it could have been done in a more tidy way, tidier way. That's the. No, I didn't like that.
Nano MPP. Say Professor Michael Quay. Makwaba, be a candidate. We nam ha. Thank you, Tor. In general, no MPP. And some na caution. Opposition is saying because unfortunately say to avoid all these brouhaha no about to no crap presidential Anthony Tem even so chair said there be a nipa na na betu nche be kwama the same person no which is Baumia this MPP more ye day more person more ye day then am person crofo
after such a bad defeat the course me I expected it any politician me I expected the blame game. It's normal. I expect it in my constituency. Thank you to, and I told everybody, say, I'm a candidate. Don't blame anybody. Blame me. Just to stop the rank. Too much. And sky by now fire now. You get it. Yeah. When you win election, there's no accountability.
Because we're
winning. Immediately you lose. Everybody will start. Is this way by now? You get that. So I'm not surprised about the difficulty.
Right.
I'm expecting the latest by August, September. People must understand that we've lost the election. So say on the reality to some people have not dawned on them. But you see, by September, I expect we've lost the election. The way forward is to rebuild.
Okay.
I expect say Kasa Bebre by August SOBia calm it down.
Okay.
Let's respect the rules. The General Secretary released a statement. Say Obia any calm your utterances as communicators, your utterances as party people, you're very circumspect. Say the beya and escalate and Yoma Bebre. Tempers are high. It's understandable. Obia some party for so many years when you have opportunity to meet Akufo-Addo or meet anybody, when you have any contract, when you have any business, you have opposition. He's so angry. I understand all those sentiments. But I'm saying, say, by August, SOBN who said we've lost the election. The only way back into government is for us to restructure very well, united the base. That's the most important thing. As for Kasanede, we can't stop people from talking. But I'm saying, say, Kasa, be circumspect in your language. So at the end of the day, we can move forward as a united front.
Right.
I support the early elections. The elections there, you can never go into an election. I have to say something about you to make you unattractive.
Yeah.
The only difficulty is that as I can't find to make you unattractive, should be something that we can easily clean. We can easily clean it up. Now, not just because you want to make me bad. It's difficult to polish me. And in your quest to make the person unpopular, you have to be circumspect. You can easily clean the person up and move forward. That's the most important thing.
Right.
And to me, the we all know that this is our leader. Not everybody and rally behind that leader. By a party MPP, we believe in competition.
Yeah.
Even President Kufuor, the great Kufuor himself, had competition.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong in Kennedy Japan, all the others lacing their boots to compete with the previous candidates. There's nothing wrong with that. It's exciting. You would see different views,
Be a candidate.
Be a candidate. Ken Kokasi amnesty. Later on, with the party, they say, you're suspending the Bia. Refugee. Or the BBI party has picked up.
Alan Ba Mobepe.
Why not? If he wants to come back.
Sir.
Alan's the difference between Alan and others nowhere, they were suspended.
Okay.
But Alan left on his own. It's not about rescinding the suspension. It's about he himself deciding to I think I believe say penning for some they tried it. Say, even before the election, there was an attempt to get him back on board. But I think say,
but right now, nobody should say, "Salam, unko try."
Why not? Alan is a big person in our party. He has contested to be a presidential candidate on about 4 occasions.
Right.
Who were following. Forget about vote in the general elections because they be America independent candidate. They forget because the structures of both political parties makes it difficult for an independent candidate.
John Mahama crack independent.
No, you forget it. Nobody cry because even before we start, MPP for about 300,000-400,000 votes. Because million.
Yeah.
Because there were polling station structures, MDC4 structures, no independent candidate has it.
Okay.
Yes, so you can never compete with me
structure.
as an independent candidate. It's not possible because me were polling station executives for each polling station. So before I start the election, I know say I have about 1,000, 2,000 votes. It's a basic. So it's difficult for an independent person to, but you cannot take away the fact that Alan has a following.
Right.
And he said, the Papa Mua, it would be beautiful for him to come back into the party. And,
right.
I support the cause. In Penifoni to Sanamona. Why not?
And we are 30 seconds. So final message to your constituency.
Of course, I call them my employers. And I'm on my employment for the next 4 years. So they are my employers, and they be making me really free as some of them catch me. As I brand with them with FM. The FM. Next 4 years now. And so we justify the entire side of FM. And I am very, very conscious about that advice. And for the opportunity to serve.
And I will call Adomako. Thank you very much. I mean, sure, as usual. Oban is here, Tybra.
That's it.
Yeah, Tybra is here. One thing can know Namadum TV.
Oh, yeah.
Namadum TV.
Very fantastic.
You're waiting now.
Sure, and I will birthday.